It all starts now. Return to the Super Bowl on the Run It Back season for your Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to RGR. I'm Ryan. This is me going rogue, and this is what we do around here. This is a special week as the Chiefs get off on their official Run It Back tour. They have a couple of games here where they just got to get things done, and now that we have an opponent, we have a couple of things to look at. This is where it starts to get real. We're going to go through some matchups, some things that, given the fact that we've had a little extra time to get ready for this game, as the team has as well, we're going to take a look today before we get into the film the next couple of days. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the like and the sub and the bell notification so you know when we do something new. Dan will have film, I'll have film, we'll have the game plan, we'll have the tailgate stuff on the weekends, and then we'll have those live streams that we always do. Monday night is Q&A, and then there's post-game. We'll talk about the offseason schedule when it gets to it, because right now we are focused on the Run It Back. Right now, as they get ready to tackle the Cleveland Browns, their first opponent. You don't get to choose. Whoever gets in front of you is who gets in front of you, and right now, they have an opponent in the Cleveland Browns that they have to feel pretty familiar with. As we go through here, I'm going to show you some film over the top. This isn't any kind of breakdown. We'll get in that tomorrow and the next day, so check back for that. But just overall concepts. And as we start, it's really plain to see that what happened and how the Browns got here to face the number one seed, the Chiefs that are really focused on getting back to Super Bowl 55, to try and earn that back-to-back. Was a lot of mistakes. We saw early things with a snap over the head of Ben Roethlisberger that really set them up to be in a great position to roll for their attempt at a run. And good for them. They took advantage of it. They continued to have big plays after big plays. That first quarter was one of the best first quarters of football for any team in recent memory. It is nearly as good as the Chiefs' comeback against the Houston Texans last year. So you see the differences there, that they both, in both those situations, were able to put up a lot of points. The defense was very opportunistic, and credit to them, because they were able to get things done against the Steelers that I honestly didn't see coming. If you heard all the pregame, we told you about a couple of things that did come true, but that defense was not one of them. Kudos to them. The question is going to become, can they continue to play like that and get those kind of opportunities against Patrick Mahomes? I don't think that's going to be the case. Patrick doesn't give the ball away like we saw with Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers in general. There's a lot that goes into that. And trying to get that lucky again is a very, very tall order. That said, they had a couple of things that they did well, some things that we'll break down in the next day or two. And first and foremost, we talked about how does their passing game work. You saw Hooper make a couple of plays, but clearly it runs through Jarvis Landry at this point. You have some role players in Peoples-Jones, in Higgins, some players that I think have really upped their game, and credit to them. It's allowed Baker Mayfield to up his game, and credit to him as well. Now, I don't think he's in the same category of quarterback as Patrick Mahomes. That's an elite level that I don't think Baker's near yet, but he has improved, and he is on the way up. Those weapons are starting to come together. David Njoku is another excellent athlete that is underused in that offense. That may change against the Chiefs because of the matchups that we'll get into later in the week, particularly against the linebacker crew, that as we roll right now, we still don't know exactly what it's going to look like. This week is going to give us a lot of hints about that. We'll get into that later. But clearly, Jarvis Landry is the guy the Chiefs have to be concerned with. I expect a matchup from L'Jarius Sneed. That is good and bad, because L'Jarius is a better athlete than Jarvis overall, but clearly is losing the experience battle there. That's something that I don't know if they're going to stick him on him all day. I would, but I think that's a risk that you run when you try to attack that particular player with an inexperienced player. That's okay. The taller outside receivers are going to be a little bit of trouble for Ward and Breeland. They're going to get some plays in the pass game. I just don't think that that's where they need to focus. They have to drive through Jarvis and kind of play everything else off of that, in my opinion. That would be my game plan if I'm Kevin Stefanski. The game plan would also be to focus on those dual threats in the running back position. And you guys have heard me talk about Nick Chubb before. I do think he is the best running back in the NFL because of all the things that he does. He's an excellent pass protector. He runs the ball with authority and with power. And then if you let him get loose, he has that top gear to get away from you. He's displayed that over and over. He did against the Steelers. And I don't think it'll be any surprise if he were able to do that again. And this is a weakness the Chiefs have had in the past. So that balance makes him one of the most dangerous players on this Cleveland offense. That said, they have been able in years past to kind of sell out to make sure that their focus is on stopping the run, like they did against Derrick Henry last season. That is a possibility again. Now that comes back to having not only the D-line but the linebacker level well manned, and that may not be the case here. So you have to watch Chubb all the time, every play that he's in. And then when he's not, that's when it's time to get a little bit nervous. Kareem Hunt, no one knows him better than the Kansas City Chiefs community. And that said, he's still the athlete that he always was. I actually think he's a better runner now than he was in Kansas City because I think he's a little more patient, because I think he has proven the ability to see where he's supposed to go, hit his assignment, and not just be trying to bounce off of contact, which he still does pretty well. The scariest part is that when they are able to get him in space and get him isolated on linebackers in the pass game, we all know what he did as a rookie. He continues to be able to do that now. And that 1-2 punch at the running back, a lot of salt and pepper, but what you saw against Pittsburgh is that Kareem ran some in as well. And so they have that nice rounded aspect to their offense. And that's going to pay off for them. The Chiefs will give us some plays to those two players, without a doubt. The question will be, are they going to be nice gains, 10, 15 yards, giving up some first downs, or are they going to allow the super chunk plays, the 40s that we've seen Chubb and Jarvis Landry do against the Steelers? That's what the game plan for the Chiefs has to be. We'll talk about that later in the week, but it's about containing those explosive plays. Now, I expect the Browns to try to do a little bit of keep away and try to focus on those running backs and Jarvis as well, and pepper in the tight ends when they're able. I think they'll be able to get some matchups they will like, and that will probably do it, in order to try and cut down on what we've talked about on Tuesdays all season, about the number of chances that you give Patrick Mahomes in the offense to go down and score something. That's going to be very key in this particular game. Now, that said, there's nothing that says you can't limit that while still trying to be explosive. They do have explosive plays in that offense. Higgins has been a guy that's been eerily able to connect with Mayfield in some big instances. I like Peoples-Jones. You guys heard me talk about him in the draft cycle. That all said, it's going to be difficult because if the Chiefs get more than 9 possessions, I think it's very hard for this Cleveland offense to keep up. So it's going to be about that balance. We'll get more into that in the game plan later in the week. And I showed you some of these big plays here today because I want you to get an idea of what they're able to do. We'll look at some of those in a more specific sense and break them down here coming up in the next day or two. And we'll also take a look at some other plays that go into that offense so that Chiefs are aware of what they need to be aware of. Now, Andy Reid made it very clear that they studied them all last week before they knew they were going to be the opponent, as they studied everyone else that they could have played. So that would have been the Colts. That would have been both the Ravens and the Titans. So there were a lot of possibilities the way the scenarios worked out, but they have already done their homework. They're only going to do more based on this film that we're seeing right now. So look for more from us. Know that the team is doing exactly the same thing, and they're breaking down that particular game as well. So thanks for watching this one. If you're new, click the like and the sub and the bell notification. This is it. The Run It Back is on. You might as well be on board and take it with us because it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of information. Thanks for watching this one. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.